It is gearing up for a very difficult battle. The opponent here is the European Union and the mediator, the World Trade Organization or WTO, no friend of India either. The EU wants to attack India's metal and mineral exports to Europe with a carbon tax. India has put its foot down, saying no way. This is the story of a new tax called Carbon Border Adjusted Mechanism or CBAM that it intends to slap on India starting the 1st of January 2026. Now, CBAM will ensure that non-EU producers like those in India must report their emissions in producing key metals like iron, steel, aluminium, etc., as well as fertilizers and cement. Under the new mechanism, EU importers will have to buy CBAM certificates to account for India's emissions, which in effect translates to a hefty tax of up to 35%. Let's get this straight. This is not just another tax. It's a protectionist policy for the European Union to safeguard its own economy at the cost of developing challengers like India that are more cost efficient and hence preferred suppliers. It's a unilateral move by the EU to hit India's exports and hurt Indian industries under the garb of carbon emissions. For context, in the year 2023 alone, India exported $7.4 billion worth of iron, steel and aluminium products to the EU. $7.4 billion is as much as 3/4 of India's total current account deficit that stands at $10.5 billion a quarter. Let's not forget who polluted the world with industrialization and made their own economies richer while India was still reeling under the British rule. And when it's India's time to rise, the West gets reminded of the environment. It's hypocrisy at its worst. India is not taking this lying down. Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal had assured the industry players last year that India will take up the fight at WTO and find a solution that collects the carbon tax in India for India to deploy it back into its net carbon neutral by 2070 mission. WTO has historically complained about India's subsidies to the farm sector, so finding a friend in WTO will indeed be a diplomatic battle as much as an economic one. If India doesn't win this battle, it sets a wrong precedent for other such acts in the making. The United States of America has its Inflation Reduction Act to boost green technology industries, and the UK plans to implement its own version of the CBAM by the year 2027. These pose a major threat to the whole developing world bloc where India is a significant player. The good news is that India may not be alone in this good fight. There's talk of developing countries getting together to respond collectively. So could this be the beginning of a new coalition in global trade politics? We'll have to wait to get answers to that question.